Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fantasy NBA Today, a sports ethos presentation brought to you by our great partners at FanDuel. My name is Aaron Bruski, and with me is the great Steve, Dr. A. Alexander. Today, we're going to get you guys caught up after a kind of ho-hum night in the NBA, but there is actually tons of news, so we'll get right to it. After that, we will check in on Dr. A's My Guys, as well as my top 150 players of Monday night. And then we'll enter the drop zone, and then we will just say hi to Doc. How are you doing, Doc?
I am good. I am back. I'm not on a time crunch today, which scares me a little bit, given that we're recording 3 straight shows. We may get out of here at 11 o'clock tonight. Who knows? But I'm good to go. Feeling good.
I have some Danny Wolf questions for you.
I'm coming off
the end of the show.
I appreciate that. That was good yesterday. And then last night, the karma got me. I missed a 5-leg prop parlay because Andre Drummond needed one more rebound. That was painful. That one hurt.
I think we should just come up with a segment called Doc's Gripes right at the top of the show.
Bad beats.
Doc's bad beats on the 5-leg parlay.
That was a rough one.
Keep chasing it. Keep chasing it, Doc. I love it.
We're chasing.
I love it. I love it. You know what? They say they're not smart for betting purposes, but they sure are fun. And that's what it's all about. Let's get to the news here.
They're fun.
We got a lot of updates for tonight's action. I'll run through a couple of them. We'll stop on the important ones. We have Terrence Mann ruled out with a rib injury tonight. Kevin Huerter out with a hamstring. Isaac Okoro back, doubtful. Kobe White out Wednesday. Getting a little bit of a speed bump here in his return. Had a clean MRI on his left calf. He's basically day-to-day, and talking with beat writer Casey Johnson, longtime beat writer Casey Johnson. He hopes to play Friday, but he understands was the language I saw if he plays just Sunday. So it feels like he will be out until Sunday. Brandon Miller rolled out for Wednesday. I don't know, actually, Doc, does that bring up any red flags for you? Brandon Miller missing, I guess, this much time at this point in time, or is this just kind of?
He's missed a ton of time, dude. It's very concerning. He plays for a terrible team. All these teams, man, the Pelicans, the Hornets, the Wizards, they're all kind of scary because you just don't know how hard they're going to push any of these guys. So the Kobe White thing is a little concerning, more so in that Giddey's playing well and Dosunmu is playing well, and they've got all these dudes that are sort of locked in. So they don't really, I don't feel like they need Kobe White. Like they're not forcing him to get out there. And the Bulls are a decent team. Like they should hopefully make the postseason. Whereas these other teams like Brandon Miller and I just don't know what to make of that. And Trey Murphy in New Orleans, like how long are they going to keep running him out there? He was awesome last night, by the way. I am concerned. Yes. I don't know if I'm moving Brandon Miller, but it's been a rough ride if you have him.
Yeah. It just definitely caught my interest as well. It's a little bit more than just a subtle, return to action. And same with Kobe White. Like, you want the return to action to have a game off on a back-to-back and then not so much time off. Better safe than sorry. Chicago, I wonder how much they bought into their early fast start, because they're 9-11 right now. They need to turn this thing around. And at the same time, you saw elements of a good basketball team there. So maybe they're just playing the long game, not so concerned with the current 9-11 record, expecting to bounce back. You mentioned New Orleans. I'll jump to Zion. Zion Williamson out at least 3 weeks. Like, it's almost not even reportable that this is happening. And it's an adductor injury, for whatever it's worth. My theory is this, Doc. He doesn't want to play for them. They are tired of him. They don't want to be in the Zion Williamson business. They can basically play him at any point in time between now and the end of the year as proof of life. If somebody wants to trade at some point in time. I don't have the contract situation known on the top of my head. Like, when is he a free agent? When are they really forced to make a decision here? But this is just a sad trombone sound. Do you have any some screaming hot Zion Williamson takes I know I want to talk about some Pelicans later.
Well, I just don't think we've been more right about anything than stay the hell away from Zion Williamson again this year. He has done exactly, like literally textbook, exactly what we thought he was going to do. It's not surprising at all. It's not even disappointing. Like I wouldn't have Zion on any team to begin with. And we told everyone we could talk to, do not draft Zion Williamson. And then, he was dropping the drafts. We were like, oh man, maybe I'll take Zion. Maybe I'll take Embiid. They could win me the league. No, they're not. They don't play. Sadiq Bey, I would like to thank Zion for what he's done this season, because I drafted Sadiq Bey in 30 deep, and he is balling and one of the best players on my team. So I couldn't be happier about it.
It's also interesting that I just think they are maybe not a worse basketball team, but it's possible. I'm not going to rule that out. But they're a worse basketball team with Zion on the floor. Like everybody stops what they're doing because Zion's there, and they know he's Mr. Franchise, kind of. Like I don't think anybody's walking around New Orleans thinking this is the franchise guy and I can't piss this guy off. But like he's there, you got to get him the ball, and you got to get him the ball in his style of play, and it's just ugly. And you do have other players you need to develop. You have a future. You have a future without Zion Williamson to attend to, and you're stuck passing the ball to Zion and all that good stuff. Kristaps Porzingis ruled out for Wednesday, illness. I almost feel like Andre has the intel on this, but this illness is a serious one. Like he, and the fact that it, how many different injury designations has he had? But like illness scares the crap out of me for him. Like he's had trouble breathing based on the illness that he has. I forget the exact name of the illness, but every time I read about it, I'm like, damn, that was a thing he went through. What are you doing with that? Like, is this multi-week absence kind of stuff in your mind? Are you planning for this? Are you doing anything about this?
I'm sitting back and enjoying Onyeka Okongwu, and the Hawks are playing well. Again, just like with Boston, Porzingis is a luxury stash in reality. Fantasy, he's a pain in the ass headache. There's nothing luxurious about having Kristaps Porzingis on your roster, except on those rare occasions when he goes off. So he's another guy I would never have drafted in any scenario in any league. So it really is no skin off my back. Not to be a jerk, but I mean, it's Kristaps Porzingis. He doesn't play basketball very often, so I'm not surprised. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's not that serious. Maybe he's got mono. Maybe he's got strep. I don't know what's wrong with him, but
it's not those two things. Mono. It's really interesting that the Hawks have Trae Young and Porzingis on the sidelines, and then they got about 10 6'8" to 6'10" dudes running around doing crazy stuff, and they're playing well and they're winning and they got a good look, as a basketball team. And then these two guys are just kind of on the periphery, and their future really is kind of in question. And then Porzingis as a player is this guy that he's a reality luxury stash that when you look at what the Boston Celtics did, and almost historically, he made that team crazy, crazy good. And, he's just this kind of figure in basketball who's got a lot of impact, but barely on the court. Robert Williams ruled out for tonight's game, so that's a bummer. PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, present at shoot-around. That's cool. Duncan Robinson, ankle, present at shoot-around. We may or may not talk some Pistons today. I don't know. What do you think, Doc? But let's see here. Are you trying to sell high on Trey Murphy? Just kind of cycling through some of these news stories and try to get some of the goodness out of them. Are you going to sell high on Trey Murphy? I mean, you just had a huge game out of him. You've got a lot of Trey Murphy out there. What are you going to do with this guy?
Well, I'm going to talk about. He's my player of the night. So let me talk about that. Let me talk about that when we get to that segment. Are you cool with that? That
can work. Let's get to Doc's players of the night.
Right on cue. Okay. Let's talk.
You feel good about talking about Trey now?
Yeah. Now I can talk. Well,
now it feels okay.
I didn't want to unload the gun and not have any ammunition left when it came to this. So
Have one of those flags shoot out of it.
Yes,
Go
Trey
on.
Murphy, a lighter. It's a gun lighter. Trey Murphy had 33 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 3-pointers, 41 minutes after missing the previous 2 games. We got the news yesterday during our show that Trey Murphy was playing yesterday. He was in my 30 deep lineup, locked in for the whole week. And I was like, oh, I can breathe again. Like, thank goodness Trey Murphy's back. Not only is he back, but that is a monster game from that guy. And I guess, am I nervous about what may happen when New Orleans completely forgets about this season and flushes it down the toilet? Yes. But I feel like they want to have some sort of positive something they can show their fans. And Trey Murphy is that thing. Maybe Derek Queen is as well. But as long as Murphy's healthy, he's young enough that they should just let him go out there and play and let him dominate. So as of today, I'm not like proactively trying to sell high on Trey Murphy. I don't think you're crazy if you do that. And if there is a time to sell Trey Murphy high, like this is your sign. 33 and 15, 41 minutes. Are you kidding me? We may not see that again for a minute. So if you think that you can make a move by getting rid of Trey Murphy now is the time to do it. The teams I have him on, I'm not doing it, but I probably should.
It's a tough call. I guess I'll leave it at this. I think that if they can pivot out of this Zion stuff, they do have like reason to play. Like the Sacramento Kings have no reason to play basketball. There's nothing for them to accomplish. There's nothing for them to prove, at least at this stage in time. And maybe they'll make some changes. Like that New Orleans team has, with Derek Queen, and we'll talk about him in a little bit here, Jeremiah Fears, you got Jordan Poole in the mix, and then you got Trey Murphy, and you need to see how these guys gel. And they're kind of at places in their careers where, with Murphy and Poole, they got a lot to prove still. They're not like looking to the future and saying, oh, this year's a total write-off. And then you got this big piece in Derek Queen. So I kind of just like get them past that Zion phase somehow, like get the announcement that Zion's out for the season. Just do it. Already, just do it today, and we'll be feeling a lot better in New Orleans, I think, when you actually have purpose to play. And then I think Trey Murphy can last the rest of the season. Who's your other Dr. A's my guy of the night, Doc?
Oh, my other guy is Denny Avdia, dude. 28 points, 8 boards, 14 assists. I think the thing here is there's no Drew Holiday and there's no point guard really in Portland. And I feel like Denny's really stepped up the dime game and has become a facilitator along with a great scorer and a good rebounder and a 3-point shooter. Like I love Denny Avdia. He's just having a dream season, I think is where we're at.
I kind of think that we just don't get enough national exposure or recognition for what Avdia is doing. Because every time I watch him play, I'm asking myself, is this guy stoppable? Like he's just so quick and strong, and he can see over the top of the defense, and he's kind of got a lot of different moves and passes, and he's just rip roaring through this thing.
And he's swaggy, dude. He's got confidence. Like he knows he's better than the guy guarding him, and you can see it. That's exactly right there. And we don't get that. And Portland's got such a good broadcast team. It feels like that would be a great basketball experience for more people to be brought into. And we just don't get that. So I don't know if people understand how good he's been and easily an early round player. And I got no qualms riding that out for the rest of the season. That's going to be great for folks. Doc, do you have anything else to add to that? I just wanted to give Toumani Camara a shout out. You remember he's been all over the place with us. He's been in the pickup in the night. He's been in the drop zone. He's been underachieving. 21 points, 6 threes, 6 boards. 2 assists, a steal, and a block last night. He's been playing better, and I think we're finally starting to see the Tumani Kamara that I don't know if he had 6 threes. That may be I think that was more like 3 threes, but had a great night nonetheless, and he's coming on. Like, I feel like if you were able to pick up Tumani Kamara or trade low for him, I think it's really working out well.
Yeah, it looks like he's got the pop back in the box score. And Drew Holiday coming back, I think maybe that might leave a tiny bit of a mark, but not enough to get you worried about what he's got cooking there. That knee injury during the preseason just keeps in my mind. I keep flagging that thing because anytime you see an inactive stat set for a guy that's more active than that, he's coming off injury, you got to go wonder, is it the knee? Is he having a hard time pushing off? Let's get to the B150 guys of the night. Derek Queen, I think it's kind of obvious, but Derek Queen is this big polarizing topic, not just in fantasy, but in the NBA. And I think people really panicked over the weekend. I don't know if you know anybody that dropped Derek Queen. If you out there listening know anybody who dropped Derek Queen, drop us a line, send us a tweet at Ethos Fantasy NBA, at Aaron Bruski, at Dr. A. I don't know if I'm just talking to the wind with this, and we all understand that Derek Queen is worth holding at this point. Is he a must-hold player, Doc, for you, like Derek Queen?
I will say this: if I'm over a guy on my team, like say a Dennis Jenkins, and I go out and look at the waiver wire, and I see Derek Queen's name there, I'm making the move. Like I am. Derek Queen is a guy I want to be adding to my roster, so that would make him a do not drop for me.
Yeah, I mean, he had the 2 rebounds and was it two rebounds, 3 assists, or 3 points, 2 rebounds the other day against the Warriors. So it was a bad game, and it was a bad stretch. It was a bad week. It brought his overall best segment of value to a top 90 to 120 level. And so you get some bad games pinned onto that, and people are wondering, is this guy going to play? Is he going to just get 15 minutes a night? Well, I got 38 minutes in this last one. Yves Missi out with a foot injury, and maybe that plays a little bit into it. The big score was a big overtime, 144 to 140 or something score in New Orleans. I'm sure that didn't hurt things. But at the same time, the opposition was large. Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid. So Queen needed to get in there and do his thing. He did with 21 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, and 1 steal. Not the best stat line in the world, but just a little reminder, like, yeah, I'm here. I can do this. And I think his value is really, to me, for the rest of the season, somewhere in the top 50 to 75 range, maybe a little bit high if he falters. But I think you got Zion out for 3 weeks. That's one issue, kind of moderately taken care of. But that pivot that we've been talking about all show long, the minute that thing hits, if they go full Derek Queen, and I don't know if you're supposed to go full Derek Queen, but if they go full Derek Queen, I think you're looking at some serious like Alperen Şengün style numbers there, and that will be fun from a fantasy perspective. Don't know if it'll be fun from a reality perspective. Feel free to talk over me, Doc, if you got anything to say about all that. If not, I'm going to get to Jaylen Brown. He played 40 minutes last night. I think with Jaylen Brown, I've been pretty anti Jaylen Brown on this show, and I felt like I just need to finally just give him some dap. The dude is shooting 50% from the field on 22 attempts per game. And I'm a little critical of like, okay, everybody else is shooting like crap. And, Jaylen Brown's taking all the shots. More and more as I watch Boston, I get less of the bad Jaylen Brown stuff and more of good Jaylen Brown stuff. And it's all panning out. It's all working out. If you took Jaylen Brown in drafts, you got a top 30 to 60 player who's out there playing every night. All those numbers translate really well into like top 20 to 40 value on a cumulative basis. And yeah, I don't know if he can shoot like this forever. He's probably at least 3, if not 5 percentage points too high. And is this sell high territory on Jaylen Brown? I don't know. I'll ping the question to you, Doc. If you had Jaylen Brown, which I don't think you're a big fan, if you had Jaylen Brown, are you going to ride this out for the rest of the season? Or are you worried about a dip in field goal percentage?
I still don't get it, man. 9-cat, he's still like 60 something. He's ranked 64th, 60, somewhere in there. So I mean, and I guess that's right where Denny Abdi is. So what do I know? But
we'll both have the rock a ton, and you're going to turn it over a ton. when you have the ball that much.
Yeah. He is shooting
And do
free
people
throws.
even care?
He's shooting free throws better, which is helping. He's at 77 free throw shooting. So that's helping. He's also shooting 50% from the floor. That's helping. So all the stuff that I usually worry about with Jaylen Brown, he's doing much better this season with. And if he's going to keep doing that all year, then yeah, he's going to be a 5th round guy when it's all said and done. Probably. I still worry about the longevity of Jaylen Brown with this Celtics team. Like what is their record? I haven't looked for a while. Do we know? Like
they're about 500. They are about 500. I'll have the exact 500-ish record in 3 seconds here. 12-9.
They're still waiting.
They're better than 3. They're better than 500-ish.
Yeah, but they're still a number 8 seed, right? Like that's not. It's not great, but they're still waiting for the cavalry to come back and Jason Tatum. So, yeah, I mean, props to Jaylen Brown. He's having a good year. He's having a good year, and if you drafted him, you're probably happy with what you got. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and you're even happier if you have Mikal Bridges. Just a quick shout out. I've been screaming for you guys to sell high, and a lot of you are probably thinking I'm crazy because all he does is do good now. That's all he does. Mikal Bridges. Can you think about, what was it, 14 months ago or whatever the time frame was where he shot a shot and somebody recorded it and everybody thought Mikal Bridges was just done. He's cooked. He can't shoot a basketball, and just do not draft him and all the things. Now, another huge night, 35 points, 8 triples, 6 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals. He is stealing and blocking like crazy. He's a top 7 fantasy play in 9 cat leagues and a top 14 play on a per game basis per year. It's crazy. I'm begging you guys to sell high here. And I love, like, Mikal Bridges has been a B150 guy, I think, like every year since he was on the radar, which is probably like his sophomore season. Are you going to roll with this? Or are you going to sell it?
Oh, I don't have any Mikal Bridges, but I like him. Like I was never down on him like the rest of the fantasy community was. But I also didn't draft him anywhere. So take that for what it's worth. But I've always been like, I just like the way he is a well-rounded, all the way around contributor. He doesn't do a ton of anything. He does a little bit of everything. And I'm okay with guys like that, being part of the glue that holds my team together. So, I think he's working out well with the new coach. I think he's okay.
I think you're going to hold him. Let's get to our top 4 ads from last night. Doc, kick us off. Who do you like?
I am going to start off with Andre Drummond. It's not that he's my top ad, like must-have player, but let's look at what he did last night. He had 12 points and 10 boards. He had a steal and a block. He only played 17 minutes, but he had 5 fouls. He was in foul trouble. I don't like this whole Joel Embiid narrative. I think Drummond is going to play all year as long as he's healthy. And I think he's going to continue to put up double-doubles, get some steals, get some blocks. And I just think he's a good guy for people to keep around on their roster, especially if you are struggling at the center position.
He looked pretty good last night. For a guy that had a almost serious knee injury, he was moving around fairly well, doing his thing, hit a 3, just doing classic Andre Drummond stuff. I kind of think he's a must-roster guy. I think you do the classic Drummond Bona handcuff and you just let it roll. We'll talk about Bona in a second, as we're contractually obligated to on this show. Talk about Adem Bona. I'll get to my first ad from last night, and it is a heat check, pulse check on Josh Minott. 11 points, 6 boards, 1 block, 3 threes. Is this enough for you, Doc? 27 minutes. That might be the most important part. Is this enough for you to take the plunge, or are you still nah?
Dude, I look at Josh Minott every time I go to my waiver wire, and he's always there. He's always sitting out there. I'm like,
just looking at you.
God, do I want to pick him up? Like, I feel so much better about like clowning. The inconsistency with Minott drives me nuts, and I don't like this. Oh, man, he had a really promising game. It's not like he's blowing up. He's just having a decent game. And everybody gets all excited, and then he comes back with like 3 points and 2 rebounds. I'm like, no, I don't want this roller coaster thing. So I'm still not there with Minot. I feel like Minot needs an injury to happen to one of his teammates that really like opens up the door to make him somewhat of a sure thing to at least be decent every night. And I don't think we're there yet. Now I like him, but I'm not like, oh, I've got to have Minot. I feel differently about Derek Queen.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, Derek Queen just is a lock to me. But like Minot, I feel like I've got this really arbitrary criteria where it's like, okay, it's going to take 2 games. If he has 2 good games, and I don't know if this one qualifies or not, but it's going to take 2 good games in a row. If he gets to the second good game in a row, everybody's going to race to the wire and try to get him. So it feels like you can try to win that race, or, you know, however you want to plan that out. But if you take him after the first good game he has, it's just this risk, right? Like you'd have no clue, is he going to get played the next night? Unless there's some report, you know, that's all bets off. If like, you know, Noah Dalzell reports that he's going to get more minutes going forward, you're like, okay, cool. Thank you. I know now. And we can just make the ad and get on with our business. But in the dark here, where we don't know crap, it's that one game. Let's call this a good game. I think what you do with Minot is you almost like, it's of course in relation to all the other players that are available, but if it's all things equal, you kind of just take a chance here or there with Minot. And if there's 3 times he does this, take a chance like 1 out of the 3 times, and just get your money in there when you can. Because if he gets the second good game in a row and there's some momentum behind it, I think he's got mid-round potential. And that's why everybody was so excited this last preseason about Josh Minot. And the 27 minutes might be the most important thing here, but let's see him do it again.
The problem with Minot, with picking up Minot, is who do you drop? Same problem with Dennis Jenkins. Same problem with all these guys. Like, who do I drop? Like, am I going to drop Royce O'Neal to take a gamble on Josh Minot? I don't know. No. It's tough. Like, you got to have somebody that's holding down your roster that you want to drop. Like, you're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna drop somebody who's producing for you to take a flyer on Minot, but some people will.
These are the kinds of players I want, though. Like, I'm not looking for low upside. I want high upside, and Minot has the high upside. So 1 out of every 3 one good game plays or outcomes, I want to throw a little bit of Josh Minot in there and see if I get lucky. Doc, who is your next ad from last night?
I'm gonna mention Jared McCain. He got more minutes than VJ Edgecombe. We know he can play. We saw this guy last year and the year before do some cool stuff in the silly season. And the main reason I went with him is he's only 15% rostered in Yahoo. I feel like he is a guy who is legit, maybe sitting out there on your waiver wire where you can get him and he can help you right now. He played 25 minutes last night, scored 14 points, 2 threes, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal. Tyrese Maxey, they are running his ass into the ground.
Oh my God, it's scary.
Like the minutes, the production, like Maxey's going to break at some point. I don't want him to. It's just like, I just can't believe how hard they're running that guy. And it almost reminds me of when like Soren was a little kid playing like peewee football and they would do the Oklahoma drill and he would just keep getting pounded, play after play. And he's like smaller than all these guys. He's out there crying. And I just wanted to go get him and like take him home. I feel like Maxey is just being run through a blender right now. So, I mean, that's good news for a guy like McCain. He's playing well. He's available. I just feel like if you need guard help and he's sitting out there and you have somebody you want to cut, he's a good ad.
That's shout out to Soren for dominating those Oklahoma drills. That's a tough drill right there. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't get behind McCain because the stat set's not there. And I just worry there's so many players ahead of him that he just can't quite get there. But if things fall apart, that's going to be back to Jared McCain season where he's got that top 75 potential. He's got to get 30 plus minutes to do it. And another guy who's my next up on the ads from last night, Jeremiah Fears, has a similar problem. He had 21 points, 3 boards, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 3, 33 minutes, kind of everything in the right place. And I'm actually going to tell you guys I'm a little pro Jeremiah Fears right now. I don't think the stat set's there. I don't love this play. He kind of hangs around the top 150 regardless of some of these bigger numbers. He's had these bigger lines. The play is pretty solid. He's spunky. He's not afraid of anything out there. He just takes shots and makes shots, and they're going to turn the page here in New Orleans. And so maybe Jeremiah Fears can lock these numbers in a little bit more consistently, keep the efficiencies good, and instead of being a back end of the top 130 to 150, which is kind of his best segment over the last, say, 2 to 3, 4 weeks, he can take that and become a top 100 guy. And then maybe he fits a build that you have, and you can get even more value out of Jeremiah Fears. The player and the role are locked in for me, and the team, I think, is really willing to support that. So I think he's going to be there. I just worry about the overall value. So I don't know if you have anything on that, but if not, who would be your next player you'd like to talk about in this segment?
I'm going to just give a shout out to Marvin Bagley. We all left him for dead a while ago. He's played well in 3 straight games. He had 13 points, 8 boards, and 5 blocks last night. Keep in mind, Alex Sarr was not playing. The last 2 games, Bagley's at 17.5 points, 8 boards, 2.5 blocks. Vucevic is also playing well off the Washington bench. So those 2 centers, Bagley and Vukes, are filling in nicely for Sarr. Hopefully for me, Sarr is back soon, and this doesn't matter. So I don't know that Bagley and Vukes are must pickups because they're not. But if Sarr keeps missing games, those are guys you want to stream. Those are guys you want to use in a FanDuel lineup. Those are guys you want to look at using for that night. And then my other just shout out guys that had good games. Harry Barnes had 31 for the Spurs. Pick a Spur, any Spur. It's Keldon Johnson. It's Julian Champagnie, and it's Harry B. Since Harry B did that last night, I think it's probably Champagnie's turn this next game, and then it'll be Keldon Johnson's turn.
Yeah, they're all taking turns there. I will say about Bagley, I don't think anything's changed with his game. And sure, there's some opportunity there in Washington. I mean, if it happened, it wouldn't be like, oh, I could never see that happening, because he does what he does. He's going to score. He's going to get you some rebounds. The defensive stats won't be as rich as they were the other night, but they're kind of ish. They're kind of there. They're ish. I think if you got a Bagley that was on the loose and doing things, you'd be happy with late round value. So definitely, given Alexander Sarr's presence on the team, I'm not going to be adding Bagley. But, he was drafted high for a reason. And again, just no change to his game. I'll shout out the Cam Spencer, Vince Williams, Jalen Wells trio. Spencer, 21 points, 3 triples. Vinny Williams Jr., 12, 7, and 7 with a steal and 3 blocks, 2 threes. That's the guy I want to talk about the most here. Jalen Wells is doing his thing with 20 points and a couple threes. Okay, these are great streaming options, I think, especially on a bad night. Like last night when I was doing the streaming show yesterday I was doing the streaming show, if I could talk. I'm looking at this entire 6-game slate, and I'm like, I don't like any of these guys, but Memphis is out there kicking butt and getting you streaming options. And Vinny Williams Jr., maybe one of the best ones out there. If people dropped him after one good assist night with nothing else, a really bad stat line other than the assists, you got a huge stat line out of this. So are you just going to keep him in a streaming context, Vinny Williams Jr., or do you think there's more than that behind this?
Dude, I've got him on a bunch of rosters. Like I'm rolling with Vince Williams until further notice. I haven't looked at it where he ranks, but I just feel like he's doing good stuff. He's filling it up, and like he's another one of those guys that does a little bit of everything and not a ton of anything. And I like it. My leagues are deeper though, so that changes it. But I feel like he's at least a streamer, if not more.
Yeah, he's definitely at least a streamer. And I mean, the assists are so hard to find. So typically a player who's got as many deficiencies as he's got in a given night, like the points might not be there, the percentages are going to be bad. There's something every night that's not good with what he's doing, but he just turns around and pops off with one of these and makes me look silly, which I don't want to look silly with Vinny. I'm a Vinny guy, but we'll see how it holds up at whatever point in time Ja Morant decides he wants to come back. Which, by the way, the Athletic wrote him up the other day for like the second time. And he's apparently in good spirits, and he's kind of been a positive influence around the team. So maybe not as bad as it seems there for Ja Morant. And he comes back, and then it's an entirely different discussion here. Let's get to our drop zone, Doc. Who's the first player that you're going to toss into the wastebasket?
Let's see here. I'm not tossing him into the wastebasket, but I am out of the AJ Mitchell industry.
You're done.
As long as Oklahoma City keeps roasting all these teams and they're playing everyone they can play, and Jalen Williams is back, like I just it's going to be hard for AJ to keep it going. Deeply, you hold on to AJ because I know you're of the belief that AJ is going to just keep doing what he's doing all year long. I just looked at Vince Williams' numbers. Like, his shooting percentage is bad. His points per game is low. So, I mean, AJ's probably a better hold than Vince, but I do, it depends on what your league is and all that. But I'm good with AJ.
You like the what if. You like the what if Vinny's really good factor.
And I just feel like AJ is just going to get overshadowed. There's too many good players in Oklahoma City for AJ Mitchell to keep doing what he's doing.
This line was like the worst line that AJ Mitchell could have had. He could have had a dud, or he could have had just a big ass line, and people would have been so happy either way. Like, okay, I get the green light to cut you. Well, no, you don't. You get right down the middle, 10, 4, and 3, a steal and 2 threes. And it's going to be like this. Like, OKC is doing historic stuff, and they don't even look like they're at the top of their play. And these box scores, like, they're just wrecking the opposing team. And it feels like AJ Mitchell, maybe almost like serendipitously, is going to be the guy that benefits. He's like not so good that they want to rest him, and then not so bad that he can't take advantage of the box score. And so he's like going to get a bunch of minutes, and he's well positioned amongst this group to do that. So I'm still holding. I still think it's top 90 the rest of the season. And in a lot of leagues, that's not good enough. And the upside's not there. So you might say, you know what, I'll take a chance dropping an AJ Mitchell to get the next shiny object that comes across the wire. So interesting.
And that's
stuff.
the key. That's the key, Brew. The upside, like, he just is never going to really explode on that team. And by the way, Oklahoma City, are they even trying? And I coming into the season, I was like, well, I'm sticking with OKC until somebody knocks them off. But am I worried about all these teams that got better? Like, the West got way better, and I thought it was going to be way more competitive this year. And OKC's not even they're not even touched by it. They are just killing people.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's control of the basketball game is the thing that makes this really, really hard. Well, it's two of them, really. Jalen Williams, I watched him get to a 3-point shot yesterday, and I laughed. I was like, he can get to that whenever he wants. And it's maybe a 35% kind of a 3-point shot for him. But that's great. That's like you have in your back pocket a couple crossover dribbles, and you can step over, get that 3, and nobody can do anything with it. That's two guys who can bring tempo to the equation. Then you have all these other pieces that can, do all sorts of cool stuff. And OKC, I think I'll leave it for another show. I do think there are some threats to OKC, but they're just an amazing basketball team. It's an amazing time to watch basketball. It's not that amazing watching Adem Bona play basketball right now because he's running away from stats again. He got 22 minutes in this game. Andre Drummond, he got the minutes, he got the numbers. It was all good in Casa de Bruski because we got both of them over here. And but at the same time, Bona needs to get more blocks. He needs to get more action. He needs to, be in the middle of the action a lot better. He's kind of, I mean, he set some good screens in this last game. And I think the style of play with Tyrese Maxey and even like Grimes and Edgecombe, these guys, they want to set this screen super high because they're speedsters. So Bona's out there, probably like 3 or 5 feet in front of the 3-point line, and they're getting the screen off. And then those guys are just all the way to the cup already. He's charging to get offensive rebounds, but it's not like he's ever catching a short roll or finding the defense in rotation and getting in there and just kind of being open and creating havoc. Now, Drummond, on the other hand, hangs out down there and just kind of makes himself available. And that's how he can get a few extra points in this equation and get some extra rebounds. But Bona's deployment right now is irritating. And yeah, I'm going to still hold because I got the two of them together. But it is, if you don't have Drummond right now, it is really hard to hold Bona if you don't have that security blanket. And so we know that Drummond's got a knee thing going on. He looked good in this last game. Joel Embiid is kind of like Zion to me. I don't think he's going to play. I'll go this over under Joel Embiid games rest of the season. I'll go 24. So that means it's on these two players to get it done. So if Bona gets comfortable out there and can just get like 8 rebounds a game and get you the 2 blocks and get an occasional point, get an occasional steal, that's going to be valuable enough to play. And then you have the upside of what happens if Andre Drummond falls apart. But it feels like he's going to be in this segment quite a bit, and we might just have to name it after him or something. But Doc, feel free to weigh in on any of that. And if you have your next drop guy, let's talk about him.
I'm going to go with Coulibaly, Bilal, Washington. He plays for Washington. He's yet to have a pop game. We talked about before the show. He was injured in the offseason, and I think that was set him back quite a bit. And I just haven't seen anything yet. And we're a quarter of the way through the season, basically. And I haven't seen enough yet to make me think, man, I need that guy for later on. I don't have that feeling. So Coulibaly to me is a guy that I would consider dropping for a hot free agent out there.
It's certainly a big difference between last season's start, where they let him go down the court and run like a point guard and take any shot he wanted. And this season, he's not taking any shots at all. So either there's been a directive for him not to shoot, or the improvement in the offensive game didn't happen, and he is just now 4th, 5th, 6th in the pecking order whenever he's out there. They're making a lot of fuss about his defense, so maybe that's the way they're trying to keep him engaged and in the fold. I'm not attached to the Bilal Coulibaly hold here. I think that there's enough downside / evidence that he's not going to step up into a top 100 posture to, that was the draw. It's like, if he could be a top 100 guy and then also have some upside beyond that, okay, cool, I'm in. If he's a top 150 guy and we're now trying to hope for some upside that's not here, maybe something changes during the proverbial pivot, but I am not waiting for that anymore. I've been open to it, but I'm not waiting for it anymore. I'm going to add VJ Edgecombe to this list. Is anybody dropping VJ Edgecombe?
No.
Is this just like maybe the first foray into the drop zone where we're just going to talk about it and kind of calm people's nerves? Is there any planet where VJ Edgecombe's being dropped? I don't know. He's had 9.6 boards, 6 assists last night, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 1 3. That's a game that's not going to do it for you. I'm not going to drop VJ Edgecombe after a 2 steal, 2 block game at all. 24 minutes. But are you worried here? Like, are you going to buy into this, or are you staying away from VJ Edgecombe right now?
I mean, I just think he's doing what he was supposed to do at the beginning, and he got super hot early, and everybody got excited, including me, and literally everyone got excited. He was balling, and now he's playing more like a rookie and playing more like he was, like we thought he was going to play. Like, this is the guy we thought we were drafting when we got VJ Edgecombe. And all that stuff that happened in October and November, or early November, was a bonus. And now I think we're locked into what's more realistic. However, this is Philly. I feel like the implosion is coming. And I mean, Edgecombe could just go nuts in February, March, and April.
Yeah, it's going to be this next month or two for Philadelphia is going to be so super huge, and how a lot of these fantasy players get deployed the rest of the season. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Got any honorable mentions, Doc?
Just CJ McCollum. I know that there's talk like he has a bad game, and everybody's like, "Ooh, maybe it's time to drop CJ McCollum." But as long as he's playing for the Wizards, I'm comfortable with rolling with CJ because every time he has a bad game, it seems like he backs it up with a really big game. So I'm just not panicking on CJ. I think he's gonna be there, and then when CJ. If the wheels do fall off and if Washington does mix it up and be like, okay, you're an old man, we're going to play kids and get him out of there, then I drop him and I go pick up a guy. But
yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting. I mean, see another Los Angeles Clipper kind of potential. We'll talk about Chris Paul real quick here in a second, but you look at CJ McCollum, like maybe he's a guy that can, bring his political abilities to the Clippers and make them happy again. Who knows? Some quick updates from last night. Quentin Grimes missed that game with a right calf. Hey, there we go. Talking like Andre now. Right calf soreness. Brandon Ingram rolled his ankle, went to the locker room, able to return. No updates for now, but we'll keep an eye on that. Jimmy Butler left last night's game with a sore left knee, didn't return. Doesn't sound like the knee issue is serious, according to Anthony Slater. The status for Thursday in Philly, not yet determined. It's another revenge quote game, and they didn't care about that the last time he was in Miami, so I don't think it's going to come down to that. I think that the game was out of hand, and he had a little tweak in his knee, and he's like, I'm not going to push through to try to come back here against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We got no chance. Speaking of the Warriors, Steph Curry won't make the road trip. He's hopeful to return Friday at home, so hopefully we'll get a lot of reporting surrounding that. Doc, did any of that perk you up, or you got any takes on any of that?
The Jimmy Butler stuff just pisses me off. And everybody on Twitter is like, look at this guy out here. He's not even trying. Like he was questionable to play, and then he played, but he probably shouldn't have. And then he didn't play the second half, and everybody's mad at these daily sites because they didn't offer refunds, and it's just more Jimmy Butler crap. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when my sorry self as an old man would go out and play basketball in the morning with these people in Dahlonega. And, when I had a lazy player guarding me that didn't really play defense, I'd stand out there and just wide open threes, and I was effective. I was good. As soon as they put somebody on me who played defense, I just shut it down. I didn't do anything ever when somebody was actually really guarding me. And I feel like Jimmy was like, oh man, I'm facing this OKC D. No, man, I'm not feeling that tonight. No, that means I have to work.
I was kind of surprised they even played these guys. Like you've got a little gap in the schedule with Steph out. You might as well take advantage of it instead of swimming upstream and burning all your old dudes out.
I'm just as much out on Jimmy Butler as I've ever been. Just give me a break.
You don't like Jimmy, and he's a top 20 value this season. It kind of hurt my heart when he went down last night. I was like, I hope he's okay. I'm worried about Jimmy. We got some Victor Wembanyama and Steph Castle updates. They will not be on the plane with the team tonight. They didn't rule out that these guys could return on the upcoming road trip. So
please,
what about De'Aaron Fox? Are you going to sell high on De'Aaron Fox? He's a top 20 guy right now in 8 cat.
I mean, the book says, yes, you sell high. I like what De'Aaron Fox is doing. I like the idea of him throwing lobs to Wemby. I'm more worried about Steph Castle than I am De'Aaron Fox. I'm probably just holding De'Aaron Fox, but I think the book will tell you to sell high.
Yeah, I'm going to hold here. They paid that dude a lot of money to do De'Aaron Fox stuff. Chris Paul, as we get out of here today, the Clippers and Chris Paul have parted ways in the middle of the night. He was axed. They said, Chris Paul, you're out of here. There's all sorts of talk about this. What's your, somebody that's covered Chris Paul for 20 years? How long has Chris Paul been in the league?
Forever.
Forever. I remember when Chris Paul went down and we were racing to get Darren Collison blurbs up because that dude was a must-add player, and that changed the course of fantasy leagues many moons ago. What's the take on Chris Paul?
When I first saw the news, I was like, oh, they're letting him go so that he can go join a contender, a team that actually has a chance at winning something this year. Because this Clippers ship be sinking, man. Like, what a nightmare. But as it turns out, I don't think that was the case. I think maybe Chris Paul was ruffling feathers, being like, man, we suck. Like, let's get this turned around. Maybe he was the only guy in the locker room who cared. Maybe he was the only guy who was yelling at people and being like, we got to be better than this. And they're like, all right, he's becoming a problem. Let's get him out of here. But just what a weird team. I mean, nobody talks to Kawhi Leonard. He doesn't talk to anybody. Chris Paul was, he's a legend in the franchise. He's, in theory, a good locker room guy. I don't know. All I know is I thought this team was going to be good because they've had the pieces on paper, and they're just garbage. The only thing I was right about with LAC, well, I guess I was right. Harden looks pretty good. Ivica Zubac is not doing as much as he did last year, as we predicted. And Kawhi, when he's playing, is balling out, but it's to serve himself. It's not making the team effective. So what a disaster. It's hard to feel sorry for Chris Paul when he's got, I mean, hell, he's got enough money just from State Farm alone to be good to go the rest of his life. But he add in all the basketball stuff. It's hard to
doesn't
feel
have the one
sorry
thing
for
that he
him.
wants, and that's a championship. He's
Yeah.
That's the certain things money can't buy.
And maybe he signs with somebody and wins one. I don't know.
I honestly that I'm pretty happy because I have a soft spot in my heart for like old souls like Chris Paul who really think they're old school, right? They think they can just yell at you and get it out of you, and there's no BS in. There's no like just all the stuff that we kind of make fun of in society of being gentle and all the different things. And I do subscribe to a lot, if not most of that. But like, I don't know. I was brought up. I had football coaches kicking us in the face. I had people just yelling at you constantly. And Michael Jordan did an interview last night before the game and talked about a little bit of that stuff. And it's like it's a throwback to an earlier day. And there's pros and cons to all of it. But CP3 is always doing that. He's always up in somebody's grill, and usually it ends up going bad. Like they're like, that's too much, and please don't do that anymore, and we'll see you at the next stop. And there's a reason why his teams have all folded as well. It's probably too much pressure. But this is, I'll say this, and we'll get out of here, is when I saw Kawhi do his press conference after all of the allegations regarding the plants and all that stuff, the planting of trees, he looked like a dude that was guilty. He looked like a dude that was guilty. And as Ty Lue has been asked about all of the stuff regarding gambling, he looks like a guy that knows too much. And, Steve Ballmer, who gets interviewed about the whole thing as well, he looked like a guy that knew too much, and all that stuff just has a drag on your team. And when your leaders are James Harden, like I when I look at this whole thing, and he was the guy that didn't play the other day during the blowout in the second half. This thing's got James Harden's fingerprints written all over it. He is the guy that kind of blows teams up and has the bad attitude and doesn't come in shape and doesn't care and doesn't play the game the right way. And I bet Chris Paul just told the truth to that dude. And then that dude's like, I ain't playing here. And one of us has got to go. And it's going to be the old dude. And it helps them with the salary cap as well a little bit. And the Clippers got basically just pushed into this by him. That's my guess. And now Chris Paul is going to go play for somebody else. And I hope he does somehow wiggle his way into a championship. OKC, I don't know if you got roster space. You got 5 million players on your team. Make it happen.
Dude, that would be the ultimate ending to this, right? Like CP3 goes and signs with OKC, who traded for Shea from LAC for like Paul George and 15 draft picks. Oh my God. Like, go win a championship with OKC. That would be the ultimate slap to LAC.
And he did good for that franchise, Chris Paul. And they have a good taste in their mouth after his experience there. So I don't know how they do it. They got 5 million assets, and it's not like they need Chris Paul right now, but that would be great. And it'd also be great if you enjoyed this episode. The best way to keep the content coming is it's super simple. If you're listening on a pod feed, take 60 seconds, drop us a 5-star review. It helps us a ton. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up and subscribe so you guys never miss an episode. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you, Andre, for putting up with us as usual. Doc, great show. Shout out to the content team, Mike Pastor, Keston Paul, Mark Camaro, Tim Woodson, William Harris. Keep it up. You guys are doing great. For Steve, for Andre, for all of us here at Sports Ethos, we'll be right back with a preview of tonight's slate. This has been Fantasy NBA Today, presented by FanDuel.